Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we dive into Uncanny Valley, a fascinating memoir by Anna Wiener that captures her personal odyssey from a dissatisfying job in New York to the heart of the tech boom in Silicon Valley. Published in 2020, the book provides an insider's perspective on an industry characterized by its lofty ambitions and equally high shortcomings, including inflated valuations, towering egos, pervasive toxic masculinity, and a bewildering maze of jargon. Wiener's journey through three startups serves not only as a critique of the tech scene but also as a path to personal enlightenment, as she seeks money, stability, and social affirmation only to find a deeper understanding of her own values. Anna Wiener, a contributing writer for The New Yorker, brings her sharp observations of Silicon Valley, startup culture, and technology to the fore in Uncanny Valley, marking her debut in book form. Her writings have graced the pages of The Atlantic, Harper's Magazine, The New Republic, and New York, establishing her as a credible voice on the subjects she tackles in her memoir. Uncanny Valley is a must-read for a broad audience, including anyone unsettled by the increasing dominance of big tech in our lives, individuals disillusioned by the lack of action following Edward Snowden's disclosures, and startup employees questioning their career choices. Through Wiener's journey, readers will find an unvarnished look at the allure and the reality of Silicon Valley, making this book a compelling exploration of what it means to seek purpose and identity in the modern world. Join us as we unpack the lessons from Wiener's experiences and what they signify about the cultural and ethical implications of our tech-driven age. Uncanny Valley, a Memoir. Introduction. Diving into Silicon Valley's charms and challenges. Imagine stepping into a world where the streets are paved with digital gold, where the promise of revolutionizing lives through technology lures bright, ambitious minds from all corners of the globe. This was the landscape Anna Wiener encountered when she traded the struggling New York publishing scene for the dynamic, fast-paced environment of Silicon Valley. For Anna, Silicon Valley wasn't just a place, it was a beacon of opportunity, a place where the future was being built one line of code at a time. The industry radiated with a can-do spirit, backed by the overwhelming belief in technology's potential to craft a better tomorrow. Driven by an unshakable idealism, Anna embarked on a 4-year journey into the tech world, eager to be part of shaping the future. But what draws so many talented individuals to the tech sector, where jobs can often be mundane and repetitive? It's the magnetic appeal of being at the forefront of innovation, coupled with the industry's penchant for offering lavish rewards that make Silicon Valley irresistible. Despite the allure, the tech realm is not devoid of its dark sides. Anna's experience peels back the layers of a world where flat office hierarchies, meant to democratize the workplace, sometimes foster deeper inequalities. It's a world where the enthusiastic quest for progress is tarnished by the pervasive sexism that threads through its culture. As we navigate through Anna's journey, we witness her initial infatuation with Silicon Valley's promise of a brighter future. However, this enthusiasm gradually wanes as she confronts the industry's shortcomings, leading her to question the real impact of her work. It's through this self-reflection that Anna begins to understand the true value of her skills and embarks on a quest to find genuine meaning in her contributions. This exploration offers a candid glance at the absurdities and the magnetic charm of working in Silicon Valley, elucidated through the eyes of someone who ventured into its depths, only to emerge with lessons that redefine one's understanding of success and fulfillment in the tech landscape. Part 1. From New York Dreams to Silicon Valley Realities. Once upon a time, Anna Wiener moved to New York, fueled by the conviction that a prestigious degree and a passion for books were her tickets to a fulfilling career in publishing. Yet, the shadow of the 2008 financial crisis loomed large, transforming what was once a beacon of certainty into a landscape of insecurity and disillusionment. In the aftermath of the recession, Anna found herself entrenched in a version of Brooklyn that seemed to fetishize an antiquated charm, where conversations about urban homesteading were as common as the sight of suspenders and the taste of homemade gin. Within this backdrop, publishing not only appeared as a bastion of cultural resistance against the relentless corporatization of literature, but also as a sinking ship, stubbornly setting sail against a digital tide. In this world where literature was a sacred relic, professionals in publishing clung to their passion like a life raft, unwilling to concede defeat to the behemoths of online retail. Yet, beneath this veneer of defiant romanticism, reality bit hard. Anna, like her peers, navigated this dwindling sector with a side hustle, her dreams buoyed by the financial lifeline thrown by parents or guardians. Despite their dedication, they were acutely aware of their expendability, replaceable by the next wave of hopefuls willing to trade compensation for passion. Contrasting sharply with this tenuous existence was the portrait of Silicon Valley, a place teeming with contemporaries who not only chased but seemingly caught their dreams, weaving them into tangible successes. Here the mission was grandiose, and the impact, or at least the perception thereof, was significant. Caught between financial instability and the yearning for a career that offered both purpose and prosperity, Anna stumbled upon a beacon, a startup with a vision to reinvent publishing, armed with $3 million. To her, it was a fortune, a testament to Silicon Valley's promise. What she didn't realize then was the relative modesty of this sum in the tech world's opulent landscape. Nonetheless, the lure was irresistible. Fueled by a cocktail of ambition, disillusionment in New York's publishing scene, and a pinch of financial naivety, Anna made a pivotal decision. She would leave the familiar streets of Brooklyn and the nostalgic allure of publishing behind, setting her sights on a new dream, one framed by the ambitious and ever-changing skyline of Silicon Valley. Part 2. When Idealism Meets Reality, Navigating the Startup World. Drawn by the allure of meaning and innovation, Anna found herself crossing paths with a promising publishing startup. The founders, with their button-down shirts and radiant confidence, seemed like trailblazers in an industry ripe for disruption. During her interviews, their grounded demeanors and apparent ambition captivated her, painting a picture of a future where her passion for literature could finally align with her career. Eager for an environment where her expertise in literature was valued, Anna dove into her new role. She cherished the responsibility of curating book titles and crafting compelling copy, feeling a sense of belonging within the small yet dynamic team. The mundane tasks of coffee making and snack stocking did little to dampen her enthusiasm, for she felt integral to the startup's mission. However, skepticism from her friends in the traditional publishing sphere began to seep into her optimism. They questioned the sustainability and ethical implications of the startup's business model, a critique Anna initially dismissed as jealousy. But as time passed, the veneer of idealism started to crack, revealing a disheartening reality beneath. The founders' indifference to the literary world became increasingly apparent. Their lackluster response to a company book club and the embarrassing misspelling of Hemingway's name on a pitch deck signaled a deeper detachment from the essence of literature itself. The CEO's framing of the company as a lifestyle service further underscored the disconnect, positioning it as a tool for those more interested in the appearance of reading rather than the act itself. Feeling out of place amidst a culture that valued brazen confidence over thoughtful introspection, Anna struggled to carve her niche. The realization that success in a startup demanded not just hard work, but the creation of an indispensable persona was a daunting challenge. Her dedication to learning, once a source of pride, suddenly became a liability. A misdirected company chat message from the CEO only confirmed her fears, marking the end of her tenure with the startup. Yet the experience was far from a setback. Rather, it propelled Anna further into the tech ecosystem, equipped with invaluable lessons and a clearer understanding of her own values. With the founder's support for her next venture, she ventured deeper into Silicon Valley, her resolve undeterred, her journey through the tech industry just beginning to unfold. Part 3: A newcomer's glimpse into Silicon Valley's reality. As Anna stepped onto the streets of San Francisco, she was met with a city at the cusp of transformation, a landscape increasingly marred by the harsh realities of late capitalism. Spiraling rents and corporate-sponsored events, starkly out of touch with the city's vibrant history, underscored a growing dissonance. This was a San Francisco in the throes of change, where art and creativity were being edged out by the tech boom, causing a cultural and social shift that Anna, like many before her, found deeply unsettling. In her search for a place to stay, Anna turned to a millennial-favored platform, only to find herself in a living situation that epitomized her feelings of displacement. Renting a room while the homeowners dwelled in the basement, Anna navigated her temporary home with a sense of unease, questioning her right to the simple comforts of a kitchen or a living room, a trespasser in what was ostensibly her own space. The alienation only deepened when she attended a job interview at a mobile analytics startup. Clad in a formal shift dress and blazer, she was starkly out of place in an environment where the lax dress code echoed the company's casual, unconventional culture. The interview process itself was a bewildering gauntlet, with tasks ranging from riddles that seemed detached from the actual job to cognitive tests that appeared more suited to a law school exam than a tech position. It was a stark introduction to Silicon Valley's peculiar ethos, where traditional qualifications were often overshadowed by an individual's ability to demonstrate their hustle and cultural fit. Amidst this whirlwind, Anna managed to secure the position, not due to her direct experience or responses during the grueling interview, but because of her unexpected success on a legal reasoning test. The offer, with a salary far surpassing anything she had known in the publishing world, presented a complex mix of emotions. On one hand, it was a triumphant validation of her worth in a new, lucrative industry. On the other, it unearthed questions of authenticity and ambition, prompting Anna to grapple with the idea of selling out. As she reflected on her journey, Anna began to understand that, in the evolving landscape of work and success, the lines between compromise and aspiration were becoming increasingly blurred. In the pursuit of professional and financial stability, perhaps embracing ambition was not a betrayal of one's ideals, but a necessary step towards achieving them, in a world where the traditional paths to fulfillment were no longer as clear or as accessible as they once were. Part 4: Finding her footing in the high-tech world. Diving into her role at a company at the forefront of the big data revolution, Anna quickly discovered a dynamic where the conventional rules of economics were upended by the boundless optimism of venture capital. Her company, positioned as an indispensable tool in the digital gold rush era, navigated the complex and often nebulous demands for big data, despite a revenue model that puzzled many. Yet, for Anna, the intricacies of the business model paled in comparison to the exhilaration of mastering new skills and contributing meaningfully to her team. For the first time in her professional journey, Anna was liberated from menial tasks and thrust into the realm of problem-solving and innovation. She learned to code, a skill that imbued her with a profound sense of achievement. More captivating, however, was her access to God mode, a feature that allowed an omniscient view of customers' data. The ethical considerations of such power seemed secondary, in a culture where the boundaries of privacy were often blurred by the promise of insight and advantage. Anna's personal life underwent a transformation as well. Moving into a rent-controlled apartment shared with tech colleagues, she was acutely aware of the paradox their situation represented in a city grappling with gentrification and housing crises. The tech community's ambivalence toward these issues was further highlighted in casual conversations about real estate investments in historically marginalized communities, revealing a disconnect between the industry's innovative drive and its social implications. Professionally, Anna's ascent was rapid and reaffirming. Encouraged by the CTO and recognized by the CEO for her potential in leadership, she felt truly valued and integral to the company's vision. This affirmation, coupled with the company's emphasis on inclusivity and productivity, allowed her to embrace and integrate the corporate culture into her identity. She adapted, adopting the unofficial uniform and interests of her peers, signaling her full immersion into the tech world. However, this transition was not without its challenges. Tasked by the CEO to develop a seemingly simple game of checkers as a test of her coding skills, Anna confronted the limitations of her newfound abilities. The assignment, a Herculean feat for a novice, starkly illustrated the sometimes unrealistic expectations placed on employees in the high-stakes tech environment. Despite the setback, her efforts were recognized with a raise, solidifying her place within the company and marking a significant milestone in her tech odyssey. Anna's story is one of adaptation and resilience, navigating the exhilarating yet precarious landscape of Silicon Valley. Her journey highlights the transformative power of technology, not just in the products and services it creates, but in the lives of those who wield it. Part 5. Navigating the Disconnect. Anna's Isolation in the Tech Bubble. Despite the initial rush of excitement and fulfillment from her job, Anna soon discovered that engaging deeply in Silicon Valley's tech culture came at the cost of personal connections outside the workplace. The long hours and the exclusive focus on work meant that friendships were often limited to colleagues, forming a bubble that was hard to break from. San Francisco, with its rich history of radicalism and counterculture, seemed to offer alternatives, but Anna found herself out of sync with the eclectic mix of neo-hippies and their pursuits. Attempts to integrate, such as exploring ecstatic dance and Reiki, fell flat, leaving her feeling disconnected. Moreover, the intimate knowledge of how personal data was leveraged within the tech industry dampened her enthusiasm for modern dating platforms, further compounding her sense of isolation. The revelation of government surveillance by Edward Snowden cast a shadow over Anna's professional world, starkly highlighting the ethical dilemmas inherent in the handling of personal information. The nonchalance with which her company, and the industry at large, treated such breaches of privacy brought Anna's misgivings into sharp relief, creating a growing dissonance between her values and those of her workplace. This feeling was exacerbated by the company's hiring practices, which favored a homogeneous group of ambitious millennial men, mirroring the founders' profiles. With only 8 women among 60 employees, Anna encountered an environment where casual sexism was commonplace, and the worth of non-technical skills was often undervalued. Stories of colleagues with significant backgrounds in public service reduced to managing snack inventories underscored the skewed value system, deepening Anna's sense of alienation. As the divide between technical and non-technical employees became more pronounced, Anna found herself reflecting on the profound changes in her identity since moving to the Valley. A request from her employer to recruit the 5 smartest people she knew brought into sharp focus the contrast between her current orientation, molded by the incentives and ambitions of the tech industry, and the rich, vibrant yet chaotic world of her friends outside it. This introspection left Anna straddling 2 vastly different realms. On one side was a world driven by innovation, ambition, and financial motivation. On the other, a space defined by creativity, emotional depth, and social consciousness. Wrestling with this duality, Anna was left questioning where she truly belonged, caught between the allure of Silicon Valley's promises and the satisfying complexity of her previous life. The journey through tech had transformed her, but at what cost? Part 6. Unmasking the realities behind the tech gloss. As the allure of her position began to diminish, Anna found herself questioning not just her job, but the very culture that pervaded Silicon Valley. It was during a company event, a film screening that celebrated the hacker spirit, that Anna caught herself in a moment of stark realization. The young CEO, whose enthusiasm and vision had once inspired her, now appeared immature and unfit for leadership. His reluctance to recognize the accomplishments of his team, dismissing the value of positive reinforcement, struck Anna as both cruel and short-sighted. Outside the confines of her workplace, Anna's life was taking a more fulfilling turn through the company of authentic friends who reminded her of her life before Silicon Valley. Among these was Noah, a colleague whose presence was a comforting blend of intellect and familiarity, reminiscent of her college days. He introduced her to Ian, a robotics enthusiast with a refreshing disinterest in work talk during social gatherings. Their connection blossomed, offering Anna a glimpse of normalcy and happiness amidst an increasingly disillusioned professional life. Back at the office, the situation escalated when Noah, during his annual review, voiced suggestions for improvements in the product and company culture, alongside reasonable compensation concerns. His immediate dismissal by the CEO, who then coldly invited anyone in disagreement to resign, shattered any remaining illusions Anna held about the company's values and leadership. Moreover, an insidious undercurrent of misogyny began to manifest more brazenly with the arrival of new hires. Instances of objectification and inappropriate remarks towards female employees were either treated with indifference or accepted as part of the company's fabric. Even more troubling for Anna was the growing ethical quandary surrounding her work. The realization that her efforts contributed to a surveillance apparatus, collecting and trading personal data with scant regard for privacy, was the final nudge she needed to reassess her place in the tech ecosystem. Resolute in her decision, Anna tendered her resignation, stepping away from the company that had once represented an exhilarating future. Yet, despite the disenchantment, she wasn't ready to abandon the tech industry altogether. Her departure was not a retreat, but a pivot, an opportunity to seek out a role where her talents could align more closely with her principles. This decision marked a significant transition in Anna's journey within Silicon Valley, symbolizing not just an end, but the beginning of a more conscious and deliberate path forward. Part 7. Navigating the Complexities of a New Tech Frontier. On an afternoon that felt like any other in Silicon Valley's bustling cycle of interviews and opportunities, Anna found herself in an unlikely setting, a waiting room that mimicked the Oval Office. She was there to interview for a position at a startup known for its software development tools, a company whose office aesthetic matched its quirky, hacker-inspired ethos. The tackiness of the decor didn't deter Anna. If anything, it drew her in, signaling a creative rebellion she found appealing. The flat organizational structure and once democratic salary system spoke to a countercultural vibe she yearned to be part of. However, not everything about the company was as liberating as its decor. Recent allegations of gender discrimination and the prospect of a lower salary and demeaning title raised doubts in Anna's mind. Despite these reservations, she accepted the job, motivated by the opportunity to contribute to what she believed could be a transformative company culture. Her optimism was short-lived. The company soon became the target of a coordinated harassment campaign, exposing Anna and her colleagues to the harsh realities of internet vitriol. The company's delayed response to the ordeal and her co-workers' nonchalance in the face of abhorrence left Anna feeling isolated in her concern. Further complicating her tenure were the revelations that the company's anti-hierarchical philosophy, initially an attraction, fostered inequality rather than mitigated it. Discussions with female developers at a conference illuminated the underlying power dynamics favoring those closest to the CEO, often to the detriment of women in the engineering department whose contributions were overlooked or undervalued. The scrapped policy of choosing one's salary had, unsurprisingly, resulted in significant pay disparities. The sense of alienation deepened with the nature of Anna's remote work, which, void of meaningful interaction or substantial tasks, led to a disengaging routine of aimless internet browsing. The novelty of working in an environment that championed openness and disruption was eroding, replaced by a numbing realization of its shortcomings. It was a visit back to her roots that finally shook Anna from the professional detachment that had crept over her. What awaited her was not just a break from the digital world she was immersed in, but a confrontation with the reasons she had pursued a career in tech in the first place. As we delve deeper, we find Anna at a crossroads, challenged to reconcile her aspirations with the complex, often disheartening realities of the industry she had once viewed with unbridled optimism. Part 8. Confronting the Trade-offs of a Tech Career. A journey back to her roots in New York served as a poignant reminder for Anna of who she once was, a stark contrast to the person she had become amidst the buzzing world of Silicon Valley. It was in the quiet moments, sorting through memories in her parents' basement, where the dissonance between her past and present self became painfully apparent. The city of her youth, now marked by sleek condos catering to the tech elite, mirrored the transformation she saw in San Francisco, highlighting the invasive footprint of the industry she was part of. As she reconnected with friends engaged in creative and civic-oriented work, Anna grappled with a mix of shame and resentment. Shame for earning substantially more for what she considered less meaningful work, and resentment towards herself for becoming too dependent on the comforts her salary and health insurance provided to pursue her own passions, passions that had become obscured to her over time. Returning to San Francisco did not offer solace. Instead, she observed a widespread sense of detachment among her peers in tech, a community where work, confined to the nebulous realms of the cloud, left many yearning for tangible achievement. This led to a peculiar trend of embracing manual hobbies as a counterbalance to the digital abstraction of their professional lives. For Anna, the disconnection ran so deep that moments of physical awareness caught her by surprise, a testament to how estranged she had felt from her own sense of self. The realization that the pursuit of a more fulfilling creative path seemed unattainable at her stage in life wasn't unique to her. Even those in her circle who had once embraced bohemian lifestyles were now succumbing to the lure of stable tech paychecks, transitioning from arts and journalism to roles within the very industry they had critiqued. This normalization of compromise resonated deeply with Anna, amplifying her internal conflict. It was during a dinner conversation with a CEO who had successfully navigated the tightrope of Silicon Valley's expectations that Anna's suspicions were confirmed. Success in tech, it seemed, necessitated personal sacrifices, an unsettling truth that echoed her own experiences and observations. The nature and extent of these sacrifices, and whether they would ultimately lead Anna to a place of fulfillment or further alienation, remained to be seen. This conversation marked a crossroads, forcing her to confront the uncomfortable reality of the compromises involved in building a career within the ever-demanding tech landscape. Part 9. The Moment of Truth in Silicon Valley's Disconnect. Several years into her Silicon Valley adventure, Anna found herself at a crossroads, triggered by an unsettling realization during a casual evening out. A friend's shocked discovery that his phone had been secretly cataloging his movements brought the pervasive surveillance culture of tech into sharp relief. Anna's non-reaction, a byproduct of her immersion in the tech world, alarmed her friend and, in turn, forced her to confront her own desensitization. This incident symbolized a larger moral dilemma that the tech industry, including Anna, had failed to address following the revelations of widespread government surveillance. The ethical quandaries extended beyond personal privacy incursions. Anna witnessed the very platform she worked on being co-opted by vitriol and hate speech, culminating in threats so severe they necessitated the temporary closure of her company's headquarters. The response from her company was underwhelming, highlighting a baffling disconnect between the gravity of the issues at hand and the ineffectual attempts at moderation. Meanwhile, the social fabric of San Francisco was unraveling at an alarming rate, with the tech boom exacerbating homelessness and housing crises. The sight of homeless individuals wearing discarded tech swag juxtaposed against the backdrop of newly minted millionaires encapsulated the stark inequalities fueling the city's decline. It was against this backdrop that Anna realized the hollowness of Silicon Valley's self-perceived ability to save the world. Ventures that purported to address social issues often overlooked the root causes, favoring solutions that aligned with entrepreneurial gain over genuine societal improvement. The irony of tech entrepreneurs flooding into communal living spaces in marginalized neighborhoods, even as those who had long resided there were displaced, underscored the industry's myopic vision and its contribution to the very problems it claimed to solve. Anna's growing disillusionment crystallized into a profound understanding. The conversations and initiatives dominating Silicon Valley were increasingly detached from the complexities and inequities of the real world. The recognition that engaging with and addressing the challenges of the real world was not just necessary but essential marked a pivotal moment for Anna. It signaled a departure from the insular and often misguided optimism of the tech bubble towards a more grounded and conscientious perspective on her role within the industry and society at large. Part 10. Embracing Authenticity in a World of Conformity. Feeling displaced at yet another Silicon Valley gathering, Anna confided in her boyfriend Ian about her struggle to embody the relentless certainty and ambition she observed in her peers. Ian's response was a turning point, challenging her to recognize the unique value of her qualities, empathy and emotional intelligence, often overshadowed in a tech culture that undervalued them. This conversation sparked a critical reassessment of her place within the industry. For too long, Anna had diminished her own worth, conforming to an ecosystem that preached a narrow definition of success and undervalued softer skills. Silicon Valley's narrative had not only captivated her but many others, positioning the aspirations of its prominent figures as paramount, overshadowing individual pursuits and values. Yet, amidst her disenchantment, there surfaced moments of clarity and possibility. A revealing encounter with an acquaintance-turned-whistleblower acted as a beacon of hope for Anna, underscoring that despite the industry's prevailing ethos, there were still those within it, driven by moral imperatives, questioning the status quo and daring to expose injustices. This instance of courageous dissent offered Anna a glimpse into what could be a tech community conscientious of its impact and engaged in ethical pursuits. Despite this glimmer of optimism, Anna remained aware that such figures were outliers in a landscape largely defined by ambition, detached from ethical considerations. The driving forces behind many in Silicon Valley, whether a quest for systemic innovation or more personal ambitions like seeking connection and acceptance, remained enigmatic to Anna. Yet this pursuit of understanding ceased to preoccupy her. The realization dawned that the tech elites were navigating their path while she yearned for meaning beyond the confines of their world. Anna's journey culminated in her decision to resign from the startup, redirecting her focus towards writing, a pursuit that aligned more authentically with her values and aspirations. The monetary gain from exercising her stock options upon the startup's acquisition, while substantial, brought with it a reminiscent discomfort, likened by a colleague to the moral paradox of owning a conflict diamond, valuable, yet tainted by the human cost of its acquisition. This poignant analogy resonated deeply with Anna, encapsulating the complex interplay of success and compromise she experienced in Silicon Valley. It underscored her transition from striving to fit within a predetermined mold to embracing her distinctiveness, finding fulfillment in authenticity rather than conformity. Anna's departure from the tech industry was not just an exit but a liberation, paving the way for a life defined by personal meaning and integrity. Final summary. The allure of Silicon Valley, with its seductive combination of innovation, impact, and financial stability, initially captivated Anna, alongside many of her millennial peers. The prospects of contributing to the tech world, coupled with the pragmatic benefits of steady income and health insurance, represented a compelling narrative for those seeking purposeful careers within its dynamic landscape. However, as Anna navigated the complexities and contradictions of Silicon Valley, she encountered a reality that starkly contrasted with the idealism that first drew her in. The industry's penchant for surveillance, its sometimes toxic work environments, and a culture that often prioritized ambition over ethics prompted a profound reevaluation of her aspirations and values. This journey of self-discovery revealed the critical importance of empathy, emotional intelligence, and authentic engagement, qualities that the tech sector frequently undervalued or overlooked entirely. Through encounters with individuals who dared to challenge the status quo, such as the whistleblower who exposed financial malfeasance, Anna found glimmers of hope and a reminder that the potential for moral courage and integrity still existed within the tech ecosystem. Ultimately, Anna's realization that her personal fulfillment could not be achieved by conforming to Silicon Valley's narrowly defined success metrics led her to make a pivotal decision. Embracing her true passions and leveraging the skills that truly mattered to her, she decided to depart from her tech career to pursue writing, a field that promised a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. In leaving behind the high-stakes environment of Silicon Valley, Anna not only released herself from the pressures and compromises it demanded, but also embarked on a path more aligned with her values. This shift signified not just a professional transition, but a profound personal transformation, underscoring the power of self-awareness and the courage to forge one's destiny in the pursuit of work that genuinely resonates with one's soul. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.